Jesus was from Palestine, but he was not a Palestinian. Jesus was a Jew, a Judean, but he was not from Judea. And Jesus was a Galilean, and he was from Galilee. Now, I didn't think that any of these statements should be controversial, but a lot of people took issues with what I said. So I'm working on a breakdown of all of these in a larger video, but I want to just kind of mention them now. Now, when I'm talking about Jesus, I often say that he was from Palestine, and this isn't something that's political or meant to be political in any way. When I use Palestine in this context, as in saying that Jesus was from Palestine or something happened in Palestine, it is really referring to a rough geographical area that scholars and historians have deemed Palestine. Within academia, this is generally how that area is referred to. Pick up any historical or scholarly book about the subject, and often you'll see the term Palestine being used, and it's simply referring to a geographical area, nothing more. Throughout history, this really hasn't been an issue, not until relatively recently, and that's because people want to connect this Palestine with a current movement, and there's really just no connection there. The modern idea of Palestine today is often very detached from a historical sense. There's really no connection there. For instance, identifying as Palestinian is something that is relatively new and actually began with the Jewish people. And when I say relatively new, I'm talking within the last 100 years. Before the 1900s, there really wasn't this Palestinian identity. And really, even in modern times, it wasn't a full-on identity. Instead, it was part of an identity. So you'd have Palestinian Jews as well as Palestinian Arabs, and there was a distinction there, even though they were both Palestinian. And really, this is all detached from actual history. So the question is, why do historians and scholars use the term Palestine then? Well, it's because it's kind of a catch-all. Part of the issue is that when we're looking at ancient Palestine, when we look at the nations that actually composed it, we're looking at borders that fluctuated quite a bit. So it just becomes a little bit easier to declare that entire area as Palestine because that is what people did historically as well. Now, calling it Palestine doesn't erase any of those other nations, and it doesn't actually erase any of that history. It just makes it easier to talk about instead of constantly trying to define all these borders that were changing all the time. And in the end, it just adds one more layer to all of this context so that we can better understand what was going on, who these people were, and what it all means.